Welcome to episode 670 of Salsidoparanormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm sharing true paranormal stories from the web. As always, you can find all episodes of the show, along with links to social media and other ways to contact me, at the podcast page, and that is salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or accounts of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening, whether you are here for the live streams on Discord, or if you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds, or on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of 2 episodes of my show every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Troubled Minds Radio comes on. And as always, I want to thank Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, for having me on the network and putting my shows up there. If you'd like to support my show, you can share it with others and rate and review it on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also find books I've written, paranormal fiction and nonfiction, over on Amazon, including my most recent release, Salsido Paranormal Experiences. You can also sign up to the Patreon page and get 1 extra episode of True Paranormal Stories from the Web every week, whenever possible. And you can also just make one-time donations through PayPal. Support is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows, from equipment to research materials to travel expenses in some cases. So before I get to the things that I've found online here, as I usually do, I had an experience a few days ago, earlier this week as I'm recording this. I was asleep, and it was in the middle of the day, of course, as I do sometimes. But and I had another one of my really strange sort of multiverse experiences, and those are, I've talked about those before, where when after I go to sleep, I wake up in the way and find myself in a familiar setting, familiar place, but it doesn't make sense because the people that are there do not live there anymore in this reality. In this case, it was the house that I used to live in with my mom and sister, and then my sister's father, my former stepdad. And I've been there before in dreams, and I've had encounters, as I've said before. The most vivid one and strangest one before was where I found myself in the living room of this house, laying on the couch and waking up, and my mom came down the stairs, and a little boy came along with her, and this little boy appeared to be the son of my mom and former stepdad, except they don't have a son. And my mom, in this experience, in this dream, or whatever it was, seemed to recognize that I did not belong there, and was saying, "It's okay, just relax, everything's fine." And eventually everything faded, and I fell back asleep again, and then everything was okay. So that was a while back. So I had another one of these experiences where I was back in that house again, or a version of it. And it was really odd because the family was there, this other family, other versions of people that I know, similar but not the same. And I was trying to get back here. I closed my eyes and got to sleep a couple of times in this other place somehow, and then when I woke up, I was still there. And it started to freak me out a little bit because I was thinking, okay, am I stuck here now? Is this where I am now for good? And no matter what it was like there, I didn't want that, obviously, because I have a life here where I'm at already. And so I tried a third time or a fourth time, I forget what it was now. And I finally made it back here. Woke up and was back here again. It was like I was stuck somehow, or at least that's what it felt like. And it was really odd because that's the first time that's happened. Normally, I only wake up there once, and then I fall asleep there once, and then I'm back here, and everything's fine. And it was this is one of those things where it feels like all these experiences were real, and like I went to some other universe. It could have been even multiple universes. I don't know. Every time I went, but and most of the time before it was fine. But I'm really hoping this time, and or all the times in a way, were just really vivid dreams, because I don't like the idea of being stuck somewhere that I'm not supposed to be, and where I don't really belong. I mean, I'm sure I probably could have been okay there. Everyone was fine. No one was mean. Nothing was wrong, other than it was not home. It was not this level of reality. It was really odd, and hopefully I never have that again. So, yeah, Derek in the chat says, yeah, that's trippy. Yeah, keep chronicling them. Yeah, I could be the next Philip K. Dick traversing the multiverse. That's what it feels like. It really does. And I don't even know if every time I go to a place, like, I don't even know that every time I went to this house where I used to live, if it was the same universe every time. It could have been multiple different versions of it. It seemed like it was, based on other experiences. And but yeah, this is the first time where I thought, well, that's okay. I'll be back home soon enough. Fell asleep, woke up, still there. And it was yeah, it was wild. I did not like it, and hopefully it never happens again. But because it's I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say on that for now, anyway. But yeah, pretty wild. It's you know, I don't know how to explain that. Like I said, hopefully these are just dreams, but they don't feel like it. So anyway, getting back to the experiences other people have had, I just had to share that because yeah, that happened this week. So of course, right in the middle of October. So there's another. This is a sort of an odd time in a way, because this year, because we're coming up on the 4th anniversary of the show launching. By the time we get to Halloween, right on there, I'll have 680 shows or more episodes total released. And just earlier, a few days ago, I don't know, maybe about a week ago, something like that, as I'm recording here, the podcast reached 10,000 total downloads. So I don't know, but a lot of stuff going on, I guess. Anyway, let's get to the stories here of other people's experiences. And let me see. Just gotta scroll down a little bit to do that. And all right, so here we go. This one says, 4 months ago, I had a near-death experience, narrowly surviving being run over by a car. Okay. Possible another synchronicity here. I knew about the story. Obviously, I found it. But you'll see why it could be a possible synchronicity as we go. It says, since that incident, I have noticed inconsistencies, if I can say that word, in my reality, which is strange, as I am usually skeptical of such things. One example is that I remember a certain actress passing away a year and a half ago, but recently heard news of her death again. Friends insist this previous death never happened. I follow show business news and was surprised to see a name of an actor I recognized trending online and in search results, as I have no memory of this actor's existence before. Friends and relatives have commented that my eyes appear lighter in color and my hair seems to be longer, which surprises me. Unexpectedly, I was offered a job at a company I never applied to after months of searching in my original field. I also managed to rent an apartment in a highly expensive part of the city for less than half of my salary, even though nearby places had previously been priced far higher. These experiences lead me to believe I might have died during the accident and am now in a different reality. Has anyone else had similar experiences? And that's where that one ends. So, just in case people aren't aware of, when I do these shows, I find these stories of people's experiences, and I put them away, and then I read them on the shows as in the order that I found them. But it's not usually. I go through how many ever stories I get through in a show, and I don't try to arrange things. So, sort of ironic in a way that I just finished talking about sort of the possibility of a multiverse, and then we get to this experience this person had where they feel like they may have traveled from one to another through, of course, a far more traumatic method of transfer. We'll just leave it that way. And now people are noticing that they seem different, and they're noticing that the world seems different in different ways than what it was before this event happened to them. And as I always say, I don't know. I don't claim to know that all this is exactly as we think it is, or that it's real or not real. I'm in no position to do that. I just know I've had experiences that I can't explain, and other people throughout time and up to now are also having experiences that they can't explain easily, and they are making posts about them online, and that's why I like to find these posts, because that is how I can do that. I can't easily go out and travel around sort of the world and find people that have had experiences and talk to them in person all the time. But the next best thing for me anyway is going on to different websites and finding these accounts of these experiences. So really wild that one was next up just after I finished talking about something possibly similar in a way. So moving on to the next one here. This one says, I have 35 years of experience as an outdoorsman, and I admit I never took cryptids seriously before. I have a deep knowledge of nature, memorizing landscapes for mushroom hunting. While on a forest road during a solo trip, after 9 hours without seeing anyone, I noticed a rock had fallen from the mountain onto the road. After gathering mushrooms, I saw a 2 to 2.5 foot tall creature walking toward the rock. Initially, I thought it was a squirrel, but it was walking on 2 legs like a human. It was wearing what seemed like brown cloth and moving casually. In disbelief, I got back into my car, drove forward, and noticed the rock had been pushed back to the other side of the road with visible drag marks. I looked around, but saw and heard nothing unusual. The location is ideal for a hidden, fortified, gnome-like creature with secluded spots, water sources, and easy escape routes. The area is near a military special interest in quotation mark. So military special interest zone, supposedly protected for native butterflies. But I suspect there could be more to it. It was near a let me see here. It was near this zone that was allegedly blocked off due to. I read that part anyway. But I'm starting to wonder if this research area is really about butterflies after all. Sorry about that. Lost my spot. There are severe penalties for taking even a single berry from within that boundary, which makes me wonder what is really going on there. Despite trying to rationalize it, I am 1000% convinced I saw a tiny forest man, in quotation marks. And that's where that one ends. So really wild that they saw this person who was very familiar with the outdoors was out and saw this little person and pushed this rock across the road, and they're nearby sort of a restricted area, and I wonder about that. It has a lot of possibilities there. I mean, I've always wondered, do governments know about the paranormal just as well as everyone else does? Do they have places where they do experiments outside of, I mean, of course, the most famous area like that would be Skinwalker Ranch, but do they have other areas around the country where they know that they're sort of hotspots, and they say that these areas are off limits for this reason or that due to natural environmental factors? But in some of these cases, what the real reason that they want people to stay out of these areas is they're doing research. And of course, I have no idea if any of this is accurate, but it does get the imagination going as to what could be going on there. And Derek in the chat says, hiding in plain sight. Yeah. I mean, think of it, this creature wearing all brown, sort of to blend in with the environment. I wonder, was there anything special about that rock? Was it a regular rock? Was it not? I don't know. Just really, really amazing sighting there. And I'm not sure what to make of that, but the writer points out it was sort of near a place where no one is supposed to go, and no one is supposed to alter the area either, to do anything to change what the environment there. So really amazing sighting and near a possibly interesting area. So yeah, moving on to the next one here. Let's see here. Okay. Let me see. Okay, I got it. Found it. This one says, I am a 22-year-old male. I recently moved to a new city in India for work, and I am sharing an apartment with 2 other roommates. One night at around 12 a.m., so midnight, as I was about to go to sleep, I heard someone walking around in the hall and kitchen area. I then heard footsteps approaching my room, followed by 4 loud bangs on my door. Confused, I texted my roommates to see if they were pranking me, but they denied leaving their rooms, saying they had been video gaming the whole time. We checked the house, found nothing unusual, and returned to our rooms. When we first moved into the apartment, I found a photograph of a person receiving a large key-shaped award, likely a previous owner. We had placed the picture outside my room. After this incident, I wonder if the photo might be related to the strange occurrences, as another roommate had also heard weird window banging noises. We decided to move the picture outside, placing it in a shoe rack. The strange activity ceased until the night before I'm making this post. At 2:30 a.m., I heard running footsteps toward my room, followed by slow knocks on my door. Thinking it was one of my roommates, I opened the door, but found no one. My roommates were sound asleep with their doors locked, and there was no indication anyone had been walking around. Terrified, I stayed awake until 5 a.m. with the lights on. As a non-religious person, I am struggling to make sense of these events. Are they paranormal? How do I deal with them? And that's where that one ends. The dealing with it question, I never have answers for. I would say they seem paranormal. It's just a lot going on there. A lot of sounds, a lot of it seems like someone trying to get their attention with all the knocking on the windows and the walls and the footsteps. That's a lot going on. Yeah, it's it's either, and like in the chat there, it says odd that all high strangeness needs to be locked in religion. Yeah, it's, and you hear that all the time. People are either, I don't know, it's weird. You either get people that say I have this particular religious belief system, so I don't believe in any of this, or I'm not religious at all, and so I don't believe in any of this. It's really odd how that works. Yeah, it's a temporal psyop. So bizarre. Yeah, definitely. It seems like, and you get these things that happen, and people automatically go to, well, this is either I'm going crazy or it's some negative experience people are thinking they're having, when it's hard to say if it really is negative or not, if it is meant to be negative or not. I do think in many cases there are just other consciousnesses that are trying to get the attention of people, and for whatever reason they have. So that's yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. It is I wonder about the timing of the picture being removed and then activity pausing, but then going on again. So in the chat there, Derek says, I was thinking the same thing earlier with the weird plasma blob. They immediately went to, it might be my grandfather, and I wonder how much we don't know because everyone assumes weirdness are all ghosts. Yeah, definitely. Stuck in our paradigms. Yep, exactly. Definitely. And yeah, I think it's important to try to look outside of those, but also it's understandable why we get stuck in them at times, because we're brought up in cultures and religions and things that lead us to those conclusions. So anyway, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you all for listening. I will talk to you all next time on Salsidoparanormal. Take care. Excuse me. Take care. There we go. Talk to you all next time.